if you are using older strobes and you want to get soft light, you're probably going to think about using a softbox. And if you use soft boxes, then you need to get familiar with the type of um, speed ring that adapts your light to a softbox. And sometimes the speed rings can be a little bit hard to find or they can be expensive. So this is a Profoto monoblock. Profoto equipment tends to be expensive. I've had Bowen's lights, and those use Bowen's S mount, and those are really popular now because of Godox and companies like that. And so those are not such a big deal to get a speed box, and a lot of good speed boxes. But an alternative is to use diffusion cloth. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit here. There are two different paths for diffusion cloth. One is cloth, one's going to be plastic. I'll get into that. Also, I'm going to talk about how, with the diffusion cloth, you can position your light. So you have a lot more control over where you place the light than you would if you are using a speed box. And also going to talk about some of the reasons that you may not want to do this. So in this case, spill is going to be kind of an issue associated with this approach. So let me talk about the two different types. You can either buy it in cloth or you can buy it in plastic. Cloth is called grid cloth or sailcloth. In this case, I bought it from a company in New York. It's called Rose brand. They provide, material to theatrical productions. So, large movie or not movie, but like Broadway theaters and that kind of stuff. So you buy the material by the yard. It comes in three different strengths. So it's quarter grid, half grid, or full grid. Full grid is the most diffusion. Quarter grid is the least. You can double up the cloth. That's a reason to buy multiple yards. And it's relatively inexpensive. The plastic route, you can buy those at places like Adorama or B&H or out west at Sammy's. And that is, you have three choices there: Lee Filters, Roscoe, and their brand would be called Cinelux, or Savage, and their brand would be called Translum. And with those, when you go the plastic route, you can get different strengths of diffusion, um, but the length is fixed. You're not going to buy it by the yard. And the plastic is it's going to be more expensive. But I also think it provides, I use some Translum. I also think it provides really, really, really soft light. Uh, they're both good. I think if I had not started with Translum, I would have never bought Translum. Had I started with grid cloth, I would have just stayed with the grid cloth. So I'm a little bit more of a fan of the grid cloth. But they're both used for film. They're both used for high-end video production outside of stills. So the other thing that I'd mentioned is the control. And can you point the strobe down, up, left, right? Can you put it on the left side of the diffusion cloth? So this is 5 feet wide. Put it on the right, put it in the middle. Can you put the strobe 3 feet away or 3 inches away? You can't orient your strobe in a softbox. It's fixed. It's fixed from the light head to the diffusion cloth, and it's the angle of the light head is fixed as well. So for this product here, or set of flowers, it's not such a big deal trying to orient the light. But if you're doing product photography, and especially if you're doing product photography that's related to shiny objects like glassware, then this type of adjustment of the light is really, really powerful and something that can't easily be done with the softbox. So, I probably didn't need to use artificial light for this subject. When I shot this in our yard a couple days ago, it was open shade. This is what it looks like with ambient. The background is coming up a little bit. Bringing in the light allows me to crush the background because I'm shooting at a faster shutter speed. But the main takeaway, the thing that I'm trying to get across here is that if you do buy the older equipment and you're like, oh my gosh, now I need to go out and start investing in different soft boxes and speed rings, and if you mix your equipment, so Speedotron and Profoto, those speed rings can add up kind of quickly. You can skip it especially if you have a reflector that came with your with the purchase that you made. And the end result is you're going to get some really, really soft light. This is bigger than a person's head. So you know what? You could use this, and I do, for portraits as well. And because you can make it as long as you like, you can do it for, full, quarter, half, length portraits as well.